Stray Dog is the latest EP from Kristiane, and I'm so happy to have her join us here. Hello, hello.
It's so good to see you again.
So good to see you. How have you been?
I've been really good, really busy.
Yeah?
I feel like since the last time we hung out, I went on another tour after the Alex tour, because I saw you on the Alex tour, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went on tour with Del Water Gap for like 2 months in the fall. I put out a project, so it's been busy.
Which is a good busy.
Yeah, it's been really fun. I'm stoked. Busy is good.
And I guess also you also have been going to festivals and things.
Yeah, I went to Coachella, as you know.
Random fan.
yeah, as a fan. It was so fun. Someone actually came up to me at Coachella, was like, oh my God, I was at your show at the Moroccan, because I just did my first 2 headlines, and one of them was at the Moroccan in LA, and I was like, that's so sick.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was cute. It was a cute moment.
But see, that's like so Coachella,
No,
where
totally.
like everybody recognizes
Oh yeah, and it was
everybody.
so chill. Like we were like both at like a really small band set, and it was such a good vibe.
Well, as an artist now,
Mm-hmm.
what is it like to go to Coachella, and how much are you analyzing and all those things?
I mean, I definitely just, because I'm from LA, I've gone to Coachella so many times, and I hadn't been in like 5 years. I just stopped going to festivals for a while, and this is my first year back, and I don't know, I've never played a festival, and that's like on my year to-do list that I'd really like to do. So honestly, I just kind of like think of it as like homework. I'm like, this is so sick. And I think playing a festival is really different than playing your headline show, obviously. So like I saw Chapel Rowan play, and she was unbelievable, like the best festival performance I've ever seen. So yeah, if anything, it's just like inspo. It was awesome.
That's why I ask, especially for
Yeah.
someone that's still on the come up,
Yeah,
right?
totally. It's like, I hope to do it.
Yeah. And like you said, you're doing homework, so
Yeah, totally.
I can only imagine the things going through your head, because like
Oh, yeah.
from a technical aspect, songwriting, presentation, all of it, right?
Yeah, there's such an art to putting on a show. If I've learned anything over the last year, it's that. Like watching so many amazing artists, it's like putting on a show, it takes a lot of, artistry.
Yeah. What did you think of No Doubt Said and Olivia showing up?
And it was awesome. It was so sick. I mean, I grew up on No Doubt, And I think it's cool that like Gwen created kind of like a through line to this new generation with Olivia Rodrigo. And so like kind of like that older generation, the younger generation could meet in the middle and like have this thing to connect over.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
And that's what I heard and saw in the audience.
Yeah,
too.
oh yeah. It was like all age groups. It was sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it.
And spanning all ethnicities as well, because you're from
absolutely.
Southern California,
Totally.
so the Hispanic people love Gwen.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. It was awesome.
And there's a contingent of the K-pop fans that love Gwen.
I mean, who doesn't? She's
Right?
so sick, yeah.
And it's so crazy that like it's just literally bringing people together.
Yeah, that's the best part about live music. It's just like people I feel like are all there for the same reason, just to let go and find yourself in the music. It's really beautiful. But I want to see more live music this year. That's like a big goal of mine. I just have been playing so much. I feel like I haven't been seeing as many shows, but hopefully that comes to fruition.
Well, it's a good thing.
Yeah,
That you've been making
Oh
music.
yeah, it's been sick. I love it. Yeah.
And of course the new EP.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Stray Dog.
You turned that around pretty quick.
I know.
Because last I saw you, you were like, yeah, I'm thinking about doing, some stuff,
God,
and I didn't know
that's
when it was
so
going to come out.
crazy,
Or
yeah. It's so strange. Like I think like I didn't even have the concept for Stray Dog when we talked last, because I was like fully in State Lines like mode. But yeah, Stray Dog was just like it's so close to my heart. I'm really proud of it. I feel like it's like the closest I've come to like finding my true like artistic voice is through Stray Dog, like sonically, lyrically. I think it was just like the most vulnerable and intentional I've been. So it's been really rewarding. Like I think playing shows has been so fun for me because I love the music so much, especially now. Like I feel really connected to it. Even though I wrote some of these songs a year and a half ago, I still feel just as connected to them, which is kind of like, I haven't really had that experience before. So that's been like a really, really amazing part of the last year.
A Stray Dog has a lot of different imageries.
Totally, yeah.
And I know that you have this affinity for dogs.
Yeah.
Your fans are called pups.
Yeah.
And so forth.
I know, that came about like so perfectly and naturally. Like I remember telling my manager that I was like, I want to call the project Stray Dog, and she was like, perfect.
So what is it about the personality or the imagery of a stray dog? Which aspect? Because there's so many.
Yeah, I think that one, like by definition, a stray dog is like an animal that is not like domesticated or like free from domesticity. And I think like I've thought a lot about my life in terms of like the context of being another person's something. And so I've been thinking a lot about like what it means to just be an individual, and like who I am apart from everyone around me. So that was a lot of it, and also just like feeling lost in a lot of ways. Like I think like being in your 20s, any age, but especially in your 20s, like there's an inherent loneliness and inherent like who am I, and I'm still trying to figure that out. And I think Stray Dog just like really speaks to those feelings of like confusion and isolation, but also like joy in the interim. So yeah, that's kind of like what the project means to me and feels like.
Hearing you say this right now, I'm trying to remember all the lyrics, but like pins and needles.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I blamed you for
Forgetting who I am.
forgetting
Yeah.
who I am.
Totally.
That
It's
hits
all connects.
so hard.
Yeah. You get it. You
It's
see
so
the vision.
universal.
Totally.
Where,
yeah.
yes, you're in this relationship that is not the healthiest.
Can be. Yeah.
And you become that stray dog.
Yeah. It's more like cultivating an identity outside of anyone, romantic or platonic relationship. It's like who am I, like apart from everyone around me. So yeah, it was really cathartic to write.
Was this moment more recent, or is that also like an older song that kind of spoke to you now?
Yeah, I think that honestly, Stray Dog was one of the last songs I wrote for the project, and I think it was like a culmination, because when you're in the process, like you're in the thick of writing a project, you often don't know it. You know what I mean? It's like the project takes on so many different forms and sounds, and there's so many different demos, and then writing that song, I was like, okay, this is what the center of this project is. But then when I like look back now at Debt Collector, or I look back at Collateral Damage, or I look back at any of the songs on the project, I'm like, that's what I was saying all along, like in different ways and different forms, and Stray Dog just kind of like encapsulates it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the sonics of it are definitely more full.
Yeah.
And I gotta ask, because as we're talking about this, was there any song, or are there a group of songs that might have started off as a little angrier?
Totally. Yeah, I mean, like Collateral Damage, I think is pretty like on like the heavier side in certain ways, and same with Debt Collector. And those songs feel like angry or anger driven, like the emotion behind it. But also, I think anger is a really interesting emotion because it's not so like fiery and red all the time. Sometimes it's resentment. Sometimes it's feeling unseen, and there's like bubbling anger, and and I think that's reflected in the music too. It's not like this like super deeply angsty, like loud. It's not really about that. It's more about like what's right under the surface of that emotion. It's kind of like a withdrawn anger, and I feel like that you can hear that in the music. To me, it's like softcore.
I hear it in your voice as you're singing.
Totally.
Because I hear it as if you're gritting your teeth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Singing these powerful words.
Oh, thank you.
And you mentioned Debt Collector, one of my favorites, and Collateral
thanks.
Damage, but for sure, Pins and Needles, I think, is kind of the crux.
Yeah, definitely. That one, like, that was the one that seemed to resonate, which is strange because when I made it, I was like, oh, this is the single, you know what I mean? But then I fell so in love with the other songs in the project that I was like, I love Pins and Needles or whatever, you know what I mean? But that's the one everyone comes back to, and it makes me so happy. I love that song.
Yeah.
I made it right after the Alex tour ended, actually.
Oh, wow.
Like the day the Alex tour ended.
Wow.
Yeah, so holds this place in my heart for that reason.
And of course, we're referring to Alex Page.
Alex Page, yeah.
The
last time we talked, it was the Alex tour.
Right,
Love you,
right.
Alex.
The Alex tour.
Yeah. Love her.
You talked about touring. You're doing a short little run here right now in spring in 24. So I imagine that there's going to be something a little longer and maybe a little bit more higher profile.
Yes, that's the plan. I mean, I just did my first 2 headlines, LA, New York. The plan is hopefully like a longer, full, proper one in the fall. So that's kind of, we're like in the planning stages of figuring out some more headline shows. Hopefully gonna do some support stuff. I love opening for people, it's so fun. Like, I think it's a good way to just connect with new audiences, you know?
Yeah,
So that's
and it's a good way for people to discover who you are.
Totally, I think that's like also like the way that I'm kind of approaching my like trajectory in music. Maybe is a little more like old school in that sense that like, I like play a million shows and I'm like really into like face-to-face connection with people. Not that a lot of other artists aren't, but I think in the day, like this current landscape of the music industry, it's a lot more internet facing or internet driven, which is really powerful, and I try to lean into that too. But I think there's something so timeless about like meeting a fan at a show and like they saw you play and that's what drew you to them. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. Hope to keep doing it.
I am so glad to hear you say that.
Yeah.
Because there's something about the connection that you get versus TikTok.
Yeah, it's just different. I mean, like, TikTok is a really powerful tool, really works for people, and I definitely, like, use it and promote my music on there, but I think that there's, like, a way to strike a balance. You know what I mean? Of like, play the shows, do your time, you know.
Right.
Grind.
Yeah.
I'm into that. Yeah.
Oh, you definitely, the old school ways definitely resonates with you. We spoke about that. You've spoken about that in the past with your grandmother and whatnot, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So great to see you again.
So good to see you again. I'm stoked for the show. Hope you stick around. Hope it's fun.
I think it'll be amazing.
Awesome.
I can't wait to see your set out here.
It's gonna be fun. I'm stoked.
It is Kristiane right here on B-Sides.